Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm diving a little bit more into the ornament, the trill. Now the reason I say I'm diving a little bit more into it is because we've used this ornament twice in our almost 2 years together. Whew! Once recently in the Prince of Denmark's March, and then a good while back when I introduced the butterfly. So we're going to dive in, we're going to talk about the ornament some, I'll show you how to play it, and I'll show you some options with it, and it's really good fun. It's an ornament I really like. Now, I say it's an ornament I really like, but we need to start from the beginning and say it's not one of the more widely accepted ornaments in Irish traditional music. There are Irish traditional musicians that love the ornament and play it some. There are a couple that play it a lot. There are some traditional Irish musicians that say you should never play the ornament. And some of that because it comes out of other musical traditions. But so do many of our other ornaments. Now, there are some traditional Irish music teachers that don't teach it and some that do teach it. My feeling is you use what you want to use with this ornament. If you like it, use it. Don't use it tons. This is to be used sparingly. And with that said, I want to add a quick comment on the ornaments in our toolkit. Now, I feel it's important for us to have a wide range of ornaments in our toolkit. We need to practice them and nail them and get really good at all the ornaments in our toolkit. And the reason is, if you only have 2 or 3 ornaments in your toolkit, then you're almost like that proverbial one-trick pony where everything you play is going to sound the same because you're using the same ornaments. So learn all the traditional ornaments and use them, intersperse them, use them appropriately. Now, you won't use the trill tons, but I'll tell you different situations when you can use a trill. So I'll show how to play the trill, do a quick comparison of the trill to another ornament, and then we'll talk about alternate ways to play the trill and when to use it. All right, so part of me wants to dive into a bunch of history. You know, I just said that the trill, like a lot of other ornaments, comes out of other musical traditions. So I don't want to get into, but I would love to, but just understand that the trill's very popular in classical, Baroque, and even popular in different ways. And some of that is what makes some traditional musicians shy away from it. You can look that up and read all that stuff. There's geeky stuff all over the internet for you to look up. So, but for us, our goal is to learn to play the trill. How do I play a trill? It's pretty easy. We recently did this in, excuse me, Prince of Denmark's March, popularly known as Trumpet Voluntary. You're going to flutter the finger, flutter one of the fingers as you're playing. Okay, that's a trill. I went to the E and I fluttered the E finger. So it is that easy. And isn't that crazy? Now, the challenge, I say it's that easy, but the challenge of the trill is getting your fingers to flutter. F sharp, the 4th hole. G. Why did I use the 2nd octave there? So you need to teach your finger to flutter enough so that it comes up enough to uncover the tone hole to change the tone to the other note, but not so far that, because I can't flutter quickly doing this. So I got to flutter closely. But you're covering and uncovering the hole. I want to, I want to first say that you can use other fingers with your trill. Primarily either the note you're playing or fingers above the note you're playing. Let me show you that. So you can, on the E, all right. Now I'm going to flutter using the F sharp, the fourth hole above the E. It's a little different. I'm going to flutter using the G. Okay. If I tried that with the F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, flutter with the G finger. See, my third finger is not as fluttery. Playing the F sharp, fluttering with the A. What I hope you noticed is that there are differences in the quality of the tone. You will have your preference. My preference, again, this is preference. My preference is to flutter the note I'm playing. So, because that, for me, you see, that's the primary note, and the primary note is the one I want to dominate through the flutter. Although, again, it really depends when you're playing the trill, what tone feel you want to have. Now, I hear some folks going, well, Scott, how do I do a trill on a C sharp or a C natural? It's easiest to just say, probably don't worry about that. It's possible in just don't worry about it. I think it's a little challenging. So, I also said I wanted to compare the trill to another ornament. Let's think of the vibrato. Playing the G, I used the two fingers below for a fairly stronger vibrato. You could play a note and vibrato using one finger, two notes below. You can use the note right below. And depending upon how you do it, you can create a stronger or a more delicate vibrato with your fingers. The similarities there is that you are fluttering. The difference is that with vibrato, you're fluttering the notes below rather than fluttering the note itself or a note above. If you vibratoed with that note below, it actually changes what sounds like the primary note. And so I'm personally not a fan of that. It's the note itself or a note above. Now, another question we need to answer is, how long do you play a trill? When we're playing a lot of ornaments, it's just that almost imperceptible entry into a note, and a trill takes up part of a note. Like we did on Prince of Denmark's March, you heard the trill as it was the note. The butterfly. a lot of people like to use a trill there in the butterfly to give that little fluttering. Now you could trill for a briefer period or a longer period. That depends on the impact you're attempting to leave. You're not going to trill longer than the length of the note. You could trill at the entry to the note and then hold the note. It depends on the impact you're after. So it's fun. And a lot of people like to use, you're going to hear trills used either like I just did in the butterfly, or in a more classical leaning piece like Trumpet Voluntary, where it's actually written in, or some people use a trill in an air when they would otherwise want a vibrato, but want something a lot stronger, a lot more dominant. And so you might pull a trill in there. And you can even play a trill. You can dial back the pressure and make it less dominant and still have it a trill. So, like you could hit the intro to the butterfly, and then you could have strong breath pressure coming into the trill, and then you could fade the trill. Or you could fade your trill to a vibrato. See, ornament combinations, that's another good option as well. Some people, when they play a roll or a crayon and they've got a tune where they're using a number of rolls and crayons, they want a particular passage of the tune to stand out more, and they've been using the roll and crayon, and it's going to get lost in that passage is going to get lost. So you might, because a roll and crayon are a little longer, you could double your roll or double your crayon, or use a trill in its place. Depending upon, like I've said, depending upon the impact you're intending to make. So, man, so many options. Again, this is not an ornament you're going to use every day of the week. You're going to use this ornament, the trill, when you're highlighting something, like in the butterfly, like on Prince of Denmark's March, like on some slow airs. I heard some people say that folks use it in some of the final passages of Shebeg Shemor, and I listened some, and some people are using a really toward the end have actually done a light trill leaning toward a vibrato at the end of it, and I think that's quite effective. But use ornaments you're comfortable with. So yes, this is a great ornament. Now I want to ask you, my friends, do you play the trill, and are there specific tunes in which you include it? Because some of you have been playing whistles longer than many of us, and I would love for you to share with the rest of our community. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoy experimenting and learning this new ornament. If this video is helpful, please like it so that YouTube knows we're here. And if you're brand new just checking us out, please subscribe and join our amazing community of folks learning to play the whistle together. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.